Kia ora, everyone. This is a research that I wanted to share with you. It's research that Kate and I undertook with New Zealand experienced principals. Excuse me, I just want to share the findings and their recommendations, and also to link it to what we consider the underpinning theory of principals making sense of the role. So this was the questions that we were wanting to ask people. Though I don't know why the first isn't showing, but this one was what they saw as the major challenges in the role, what professional learning would have been useful or support would have been useful for them, what professional learning would they like to access, and what advice they would give to someone seeking a position. So it's really that final one that we really think is relevant for you. What we did find overall, the key findings was that the job is very complex, and it's always complex throughout the principal's career. The difference gradually is as they become more experienced, they're able to make more sense of it. What makes it complex is it's so unpredictable. You would have understood that by listening to Pat this morning. That ultimately a principal is responsible, and so that can make it a bit lonely. That sort of the buck stops with you. That relationship management is ongoing. It has to be deliberately maintaining the relationship. Some people found that they thought the relationships were stable, but unless they continued to nurture them, they could fall away. The school culture was crucial, and they had to balance management and leadership, and that becomes an ongoing challenge, which you're probably already experiencing. Key was no matter how well prepared they were, they still had to make sense in the role and the context and develop their resilience. So we wanted to link this to a theory, and sense making theory was, if you like, a bit of a comfort. If you think that it's absolutely fine if you start a role and in a new role and it just throws you. It is fine to realize that this is just a process of making sense. So Wake talks about it as we have in our mind already a schema or a mental map from our previous experiences, and then it's placing into that mental map new frameworks, understanding and constructing meaning from them. So it's really building on what we know. Already we've got existing models built on our experiences, and then this through the medium through which we receive new messages, we, in the particular context, we make new understandings of it. Now, Harris talked about 5 categories of schema, and this captures what you need to know when you come into a new organization. First of all, the self schema, your vision of yourself in this organization. And he maintains that much of our understanding of our role and situation is built on the reflection from others and how they react to us. We need to make sense of the people in the organization, their beliefs, their values, what they expect. And as Pat said, going into a role where it had a different sort of leadership, staff might have had different expectations. So it's gradually making sense of those and modifying so that they get to know you. Getting to know the organisation values, and you may find that you trip across nuances that are not immediately obvious, that are different from the organisation values that you understood. So getting your head around making sense of those values. Interpreting the physical or the verbal artifacts. What are the signs of what this organisation is? What do they mean? What do they symbolize? And finally, event schema. That is the context knowledge of expected behavior. What happens? What is the script for assemblies? What is for prize giving? What is the way things are done around here? Making sense of all those and fitting them into your mental map. So a new principal will be asking themselves, what is happening here and what do I do about it? Our cold cycle of experiential learning sits underneath this. So we have the concrete experience, then we reflect on, well, what was happening here? What do I do about it? as a result of that, what do I come to understand in the conceptualization of it? And then experiment, try out a new way or a different way, or work from that experience on modifying our behavior or coping with what we face. The thinking behind it is that your development of leadership capacity is built on an understanding that what we do in your studies, what you have learned, and through study or courses or through experience. And then it becomes an art based on also um, insight and vision and intuition. So you can't overlook these things. They are part of what builds up your schema and your development of your own leadership capacity, which is just enhanced as we go and practice critically self-appraisal and get feedback. And as you heard today, the value of having a mentor or a critical friend who will actually give you feedback and provide you with some strategies or ideas of where to go next. This is a quote from one of the experience principles. It's getting the right people in place. He maintained you don't need to be the lead violinist, you don't need to be the percussionist, but you have to be a very good conductor. These were what the principles suggested being prepared for the role. Have strong personal values. You've already been working on that. Shadow and experience principles. Well, we hope that or plan that that will occur over the course of the program. Understanding leadership, so that is digging into your study, understanding theory of leadership, approaches to leadership, understanding strategic planning, and then establishing connections within the sector. You'll be able to do that already in your current environment, and you probably already have got quite a few connections from your previous roles in various schools, and building on those, being quite deliberate about maintaining those relationships. And finally, being able to articulate your educational philosophy. We've actually, Kate and I have been saying this perhaps could be added to the questions for the interviews. In preparation from the role, they suggested you have pedagogical knowledge, not just of a subject, but how it is learned, how adults learn, because you are leading learning in an organisation, leading adult learning as well as the learning of the students. And pedagogical knowledge, it can be a challenge for principals maintaining up-to-date knowledge, but it's important that you do that. If you can have it in one subject and transfer the basic ideas into others, then you'll be able to observe it and give feedback to teachers. Know teenagers. You probably feel that you do know them, but becoming interested in teenage development. Be clear about your reasons. They maintain that a principal role doesn't really work for people who just see it as career advancement. It's knowing that the people who go into the role are doing it for a purpose. Strengthen communication skills and particularly oral skills. This is something that we try to give feedback on the program about the delivery of oral presentations. Very important that a principal or any leader can actually express their ideas succinctly and clearly to each audience. They also suggested that you visit potential schools at lunchtime and morning break so you get a more realistic view of what is going on in the school. It's not just at a carefully manufactured or manicured tour to the school. And finally, know the industry. Keep up to date with political change and social change. Don't stay buried in a school, but have a wide view of the industry. So I hope that was some help for you, and here are some references if you want to look in further. Kia ora, everyone.